I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, AfterBuzzers, to another episode of Siren. We have episodes 3 and 4 this week, season 3. I'm your host, Carla, and I'm joined by the one and only Nigel Welton. Hey, girl.
Hello, everyone. Hey, girl. And hello,
Thanks for
everybody.
being here with us. I know we weren't here last week, but we're here to catch you guys up on what's been going on with Siren. We have Meredith giving birth, Ben injects himself with cells, Helen is seeing visions, and Xander is being triggered by everyone at this point. We're going to get into it. We have some news and gossip as well. We have our special segment, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But until then, what are some of your overall thoughts, Nija?
So for episode 3, I think Ben's crazy. Okay, that's my overall thought for episode 3. I think Ben's kind of crazy for kind of injecting himself with those cells and trying to figure stuff out. And episode 4, so excited for Ren and her baby. Like, such an embarking moment for her. And I love it.
I know. I feel like we've been waiting a long time for this. We didn't think it was going to happen because she didn't take the embryo. And then we find out that we have a separate surrogate. So that's so cool. But let's jump into the first item to talk about. We see, so Ben injects himself is kind of like the main point, but it starts off with him kind of fighting with his dad about his mom not being able to get more cells, or maybe finding some more for her and injecting herself, which I actually until now never really considered what the risk of this trial was, really, until Ben's dad was kind of like, you don't know the side effects, like you don't know what this can do to your mom. We can't just keep giving her something we know nothing about, which I totally agree with. What do you think about that?
So I agree with his dad, like he doesn't know the side effects, which is probably why he wanted to inject himself to figure out exactly what's going on. But I feel like he could have did it another way instead of trying to use himself as kind of like a test dummy. Which doesn't make sense, because now if something goes wrong with you, it's something wrong with you and your mom. And now what are you going to do? You know?
I actually never considered that. I kind of, when I obviously saw him dig up the body, which I was like, okay, you know, he's going to go against his dad's wishes and get more cells for his mom. But then we see him injecting them to himself, which I was not expecting, but I never considered the option of kind of testing on himself before he gives it to his mom. I kind of thought, like, well, from what I took from it, we see his mom drown for a little bit, which really, really scared me. I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna die.
I was like, somebody hurry up and go get her, because what's happening? She wanted to move so badly out of that chair.
I mean, she's made so much progress that I get why she wants to keep, you know, kind of pushing her body. But in the pool, when you have no motion on the lower half of your body, is not it. Okay, no. But then they find her and she's totally calm, cool, and collected, which I was like super confused by. And then she goes to the doctor and they tell her she has the lungs of an Olympic swimmer. So then I started piecing everything together and I was like, okay, so these cells have to be giving her like mermaid powers. So
that's what I was thinking. I was like, what if she kind of turns into like a mermaid?
That's what I was so awesome, because it's like she doesn't have the mobility in like human life. So imagine having it like underwater. It'll be like maybe a freeing feeling for her, I think, but who knows? I kind of thought that Ben saw that and was putting everything together and kind of wanted to do the same for himself, like kind of gain some like mermaid powers so he can be closer to Rin, because I low-key think he and Rin are going to end up together, but you know, we'll get into that in our predictions.
I think that too, literally.
Yeah. So what did you think when you saw, so he ended up cutting his hand really, really bad with some glass. When he took off the bandage and it was completely healed, what were your thoughts on that?
I was like, oh, so now he's gaining like these little mermaid powers and he has kind of like super healing. That's what I'm going to call it, because I think that's kind of like super healing. So I was kind of intrigued and I was like, oh, so now he's really going to do more tests. And I was just like, which he shouldn't, but I know he is, since he sees that his hand is getting healed. So he's going to keep being his test dummy.
I feel like he's so reckless. He just like doesn't really think things through and like goes for it. But I thought the same thing. Like I was like, okay, he's clearly getting mermaid powers, like you said, they're able to heal so quickly, because there's no way that can happen naturally. So I'm curious, because his mom has had way more of these treatments. How far body like how much her body has changed, because we haven't really seen much other than her being completely fine underwater. So hopefully we see more of what's going on with her. But I do agree with his dad. I don't think they should keep testing on her mom, especially now that he knows more about mermaids. Like, there's very little we actually know. So don't play with your mom's life, okay? Appreciate her.
Right.
Don't take her for granted. And this episode, we also see Helen she's not that she's having more visions, but she's curious to see Sarge more, which I don't really understand. Like, I've lost someone, like one of my loved ones has passed away, so I get like, missing them, but I don't necessarily know how crazy I would be about them popping up in my dreams,
I would kind of get a little freaked out, but then I would like analyze it, which I think that she's trying to do. She's trying to analyze every situation. That's why she wants to see him again. But were they like a couple, or like, are they related in some type of way?
What I took away from it is kind of that they had like I don't want to say they had a relationship, but they definitely, I think, had feelings for each other.
Okay.
And from what Helen makes it sound like, obviously very profound. So I think she misses him and wants to see him, but I also think she wants answers. But I think she's going a little too far. So we saw her take a hallucinogen, which is basically what it was, and she has a trip. I thought is that what we call it?
A trip.
She was
we
tripping.
could call it that. She was tripping.
And she sees Donna, which I did not expect, because she goes into it wanting to see Sarge, and then she sees Donna, which is Rin's sister.
I was confused.
Yeah, me too. But do you feel like that her seeing Donna meant anything?
Well, I don't know exactly. It could mean that she needs to tell Rin something, but nobody knows exactly what to tell Rin, because she kind of started disintegrating within that whole little thing, which was kind of creepy too, by the way. Like, I was like, oh my God, now she's disintegrating right in front of her on this little trip that she's having. But
yeah, I kind of thought the same thing, because it was very brief. Her hallucination was very brief. It was just her seeing Donna, and then out of nowhere, Donna just kind of vanishes into thin air. I kind of thought the same thing, though. I think like Sarge was trying to warn her about something. I think Donna is as well. And because it's Rin's sister, I think the message maybe is for Rin. Because I feel like Rin has gotten very comfortable on land. I think she's not the mermaid she maybe used to be, And we see that when she's trying to teach her tribe how to fight, she's getting her butt kicked.
Man, I was feeling so bad for her when she was getting her butt kicked. I was like, get it together, Rin. You are better than this. Get it together.
We are not going to win like this.
Right. Like, you need to be all in. Okay?
No, I agree. So I feel like I think Helen doing all of this, which I do think is a little much, because I'm not for, seeing spirits. That's, not my thing. But I do think that with Helen knowing more information, it can maybe prepare Rin for battle a little better, because I feel like the spirit world is there to protect you and to kind of warn you when things are going wrong. So I'm kind of hoping that that's what Helen's trying to get out of this, because we need as much information as possible. Sorry, go ahead.
No, finish your thought first. And then
we have seen many clips of Tia in the ocean just kicking people's ass, and it does not look pretty.
It doesn't. But another thing with the whole Helen seeing Donna, the scene where she sees Donna in the afterlife is she has on the same outfit that she got. I don't remember how she died, but either it was like a bow and arrow or like shot or something like that. It's in the same area. So maybe that has something to do with it too. With what she needs to tell Rin as well.
Yeah, I feel like throughout watching these 2 episodes, like there's so much going on, but there's still so much that's kind of just left unanswered. You're just kind of like
so many pieces that we have to put together.
Yeah, it's crazy. In these episodes, we see Xander. I mean, we've been seeing him we saw him the last 2 episodes as well, but I feel like his character is completely evolving from
Me
what we
too.
saw at the beginning. He used to be a fisherman. He would get drunk. He was like immature, naive. And now you
I'm
see
proud
him
of
like,
him.
yes, he's like a grown man now. I think like losing his dad really, really affected him and made him
It
probably
did.
think like, I need to be a man now, you know?
And that he
Um,
just needs to change his life around
yeah, I think
altogether.
so. In these episodes, mainly in episode 4, he brings up a very good question. Like he kind of questions how good the mermaids really are, because we see um one of the mermaids kill Ryan. Her name's Cami. She kills Ryan, um
Hmm.
thinking she's protecting Rin and the baby, but in reality that's such a drastic measure. Violence is never the answer, people.
Right.
They
But
could
I
have
don't
maybe
think they
tied him.
know any better.
Exactly. But to me it's like, tie him in a chair, do other things. But then he says like, how good is their moral conduct? Like, are they really here, like, doing any good for us, or are they just causing trouble? Do you feel like since Rin came around, their lives have become better, worse, more complicated? What are your thoughts?
Better as in the sense of them being able to learn about them, but I feel like they kind of brought a lot of more chaos to their lives because it's always something happening around them, whether it's somebody dying, whether it's a person or a mermaid, or even more mermaids popping up. Like their life is kind of filled with chaos and their life does revolve around them now. It's not like they have their life of their own anymore, which
Yeah.
I'm hoping we see that they do get a life
I'm
later.
hoping this turns more positive, because I mean, I totally understood where he was coming from. If you think about it, like Ben's mom, in the accident was due to a mermaid. Xander lost his dad to a mermaid. Like there's been so many things that have gone wrong, that it's kind of, if I were him, I would kind of be bitter too. Like I was living a perfectly good life before this, and you come and just stir everything up. And when that murder happens between Cami and Ryan, he's the person they call to help them fix the problem. And he was already doing his own thing, like he's trying to live
I
his life, and
know.
he feels like he's constantly picking up messes. Um, if you were him, would you kind of give up on them with the mermaids, or would you keep pushing forward?
I would still try and keep push forward with myself, but I would still help them because like those are my. I would just tell them like you guys need to do better, and we need to like teach them how to do better. Like this is not the answer. Like you can't keep doing this because how many more bodies are we going to have to cover
Yes, that's literally what I was thinking. How many more people are we gonna lose until we kind of realize like what we're doing is a little crazy?
Right.
Like I feel like mermaid world, human world, two completely different things. And there has to be a happy medium, but I feel like they haven't found like a solution yet. So it's just a lot of chaos and bad things going on all the time. But we'll
It
have to see
is.
where that goes. Another thing that I felt so bad for Xander for was when they get a call that there's a boat that's needs medical attention, then he's forced to go out there with his team of cop friends to handle the situation. He's so disappointed in Calvin because the gas gauge went out, which then led to someone hitting their head, and they were also very drunk. So it's just like a lot of factors that just
Oh
are not
God.
okay.
So my initial thought when that happened, I thought because I felt like Xander, I thought he was going to be like scared or something, which I think he was. I kind of thought they were going to be like harmed by mermaids or something. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, more people are dying right now. It's like, oh my goodness. But the fact that it was Calvin, I feel like he's more so kind of disappointed in him and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of mentions like, dude, like we at some point need to grow up. Like you're gonna be a husband. I'm trying to be a cop. Like you made me look bad in front of my coworkers, like now they think I hang out with like losers. So I think
Right.
Xander's making like really good, like adult choices, but
Mhm.
then I feel like his friends are kind of dragging him down.
I was just gonna say that, like, he wants them to all do better, and they're not. He's gonna have to probably leave them in the dust, maybe. But
That's what I'm thinking. I don't blame him either. Okay. That's too much drama, and we don't got time for
it
that.
is. We don't own. It's time for him to grow up and get his life started.
yeah, everyone to grow up, be realistic. You can't, I don't know. There's too many things. I feel like the one of the really main things that happened between these two episodes is Meredith giving birth. I did not think the day was gonna come. I was scared for her. But through that, we learned so much. Were you surprised kind of the attachment that Rin had toward the baby? Like you see her getting contractions when Meredith was getting contractions and she didn't even know there was a baby around. Were you surprised by that?
I was a little surprised, and then I was just like, oh well, maybe because it's a different species and they're not human, that can be what happens. So I was just like kind of a little bit confused, but I was like, okay, well maybe because they're a different species, so that's the reasoning that it's happening, you know?
It kind of makes me wonder like how all other species are like maternal instinct wise. I'm sure that's pretty normal, to just kind of feel like be super protective over like your babies. I
Hmm.
thought it was insane that once they kind of found out that there was a baby, she went and she kind of like, do you think she sang over the baby, or was just like her presence that healed Meredith, like kind of eased Meredith's pain? I didn't really catch that. Like if it was a song or if it was just her presence alone.
I don't know if she was actually singing. I didn't catch that either, but maybe she was, or maybe they can sing through their hands because she was like touching her belly a lot.
Yeah,
It's like
because I
how.
like there was like a melody playing in the background, but I was like, I don't know
Mhm.
if that's just like added, or if it's Rin, but it definitely did help. Uh what I thought was really, really weird, which maybe you have a different take on, was that they wanted to have a pure bred baby to worship it. What in the world does that
Like,
even mean?
why? Why do you wanna worship it? I get that they're, like, half mermaid people, I guess, but why do you need to worship it? Like, how are you guys going to take care of it and its needs and stuff?
Yes.
You guys gonna put it on a
Yeah,
pedestal and in some water. That's what they're gonna
exactly.
do.
That's what I thought. Like, first of all, it's kind of weird, like to have a baby to worship it. Like, what does that even mean? It just seems a little odd to me. But then once the baby is born, you quickly realize like there is no way that like a hybrid, which is what Meredith is and what everyone
Mhm.
around her is, that a hybrid can take care of a purebred baby, because right away you see that the baby's breathing changes within like an hour of being born. Well, I don't know the exact time frame, but definitely like right after being born, within some time, she has trouble breathing, and their skin starts to get super flaky. And
Yep.
I put two and two together, and obviously the baby needed to go in the water. It's a purebred. So how did they expect to take care of a baby when they're hybrids? I just feel like it's a whole mess, and
Me
it was
too.
not worth Meredith's life personally.
I don't
What do
think
you think
so.
about that?
I feel like she took a lot on herself, but she was kind of proud of it and happy to carry her baby. But then she lost her life in the end. So it was just like, maybe you shouldn't have, and you guys should just let Ren have her baby. And this could have all been avoided. Because why do you even want to worship a baby? What is
It's
the baby
weird,
gonna do
right?
for you? Yeah, it's really weird. Like, but it's okay.
What do you feel? Because there's obviously like what do you want to call them, like a group of hybrids who have their own like ritual and practices. What do you think their ultimate goal is at the end of all this? Because they do a lot of really odd things that just kind of like leave me wondering like what is your purpose?
I kind of feel like they're like a little secret society or something because they have their own ways of doing stuff. And even like for Ryan, when he died, they like burning him, which I thought was
Yes.
weird too. But I don't know if that answers your question.
No, I felt the same way. I feel like we don't really know their purpose, so it'd probably be a hard one
Mhm,
to answer. But I think when they mention burning Ryan, they kind of say like we do that so we don't leave any trace of our people. Because let's say we take him to get an autopsy or somewhere more official, they're gonna quickly realize like, oh, this is not like a normal person, and then they're all in danger.
mhm.
Is how they see it. But at the same time, I'm actually thinking that maybe their like secret society is to protect each other. Because if they were to be exposed, I think they would all get wiped out.
I think so, but what I also feel they should do is maybe they should actually go into the world and have people in these places that they're at, so then they could be helped more instead of just having everything on a ranch and doing stuff there. It would be much better if they went out into society instead of creating their own because they're different.
I agree because even Lena, which is the doctor that helped like throughout the whole pregnancy, she kind of mentions like I need more equipment than just what I have here. I think if maybe they would have been in a better equipped place, like obviously a hospital, I think Meredith could have survived because she's
Right.
kind of deteriorated really fast. In the moment like that, like you need to act quick instead of
And it
just
was
kind of
nothing they could do at that moment.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. So I think everyone, if they come together, we can find some real solutions for all of this. But everyone kind of just like working behind people's backs, it's not going anywhere good at the moment, at least. And this I feel like has been kind of like a trend. But the baby, gorgeous. When I saw them jump into the water,
My heart
it
melted.
was beautiful. Yes.
I
I've
was
never
like,
seen
oh
a
my
baby
God,
mermaid,
this is
never
cute.
even imagined what one could look like with the
Me
little
either.
baby tail.
I was like, oh, that's so cute. And I was like, it's just like swimming around all cutesy, trying to play with Rin in the water. I was like, oh, that's adorable.
Do you worry for Rin and the baby in the
I
water?
do. Yes, I do. Because yes, she has all her people out there and stuff, but since she has a baby, like, are they going to try and harm her? And Tia just might find her because she's out there looking for all the other tribes too. So it's just like now she's really in danger. She was already in danger, but now more so because she's in the water.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe having the baby is kind of like a protection. Like maybe Tia wouldn't hurt her because she has the baby. Because ideally they want to keep reproducing because they haven't for a while. So a baby being around is supposed to be a really, really positive thing. So maybe this can be like a joining force for both of them, kind of like trying to find a different solution
That
other
too.
than just killing everyone off.
That's a good way to think about it. But Tia already wants to kill everybody off, So
He's like,
who
you're
knows?
my way or the highway. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
It is.
Is there anything you want to talk about these 2 episodes? I feel like there's so much that happened.
It is. I wrote down a lot of stuff.
Me too. So what do you think of Rob and Ben meeting? That was wild.
That right there, I was like, oh, so now Ben wants to question and stuff because he's getting a little suspicious. But I think he's a little jealous, more so than just trying to find out what Rob's intentions are. Because Maddie's about to leave him. So he's like, what's about to happen?
A part of me feels like Maddie and him are like over for sure. Like they haven't really openly said it, but you can tell like their interaction has just been completely different. I actually thought Ben's reaction to meeting Rob was super chill. Like if some girl comes up trying to take my man, I'm not gonna be that calm. He just kind of was dogging him a little bit, kind of like asked him a few questions, but I didn't think it was anything like too
Not
territorial.
so much like territorial, but I sense jealousy because I was like looking at his facial expressions. I'm like a facial expression person. So just watching his facial expressions, I was like, he's a little jealous because he's like, oh, he's over here again, like for the second time. Because the first time he's seen him at her house when he came bring her food, and now he's just popping up again because he popped up the first time too.
Yeah,
you don't just pop up at people's houses.
Thank you.
Okay, like you don't do that. Like, did I give you permission to come over here? Text message, a call, or something?
So Rob admits in these episodes that he's totally feeling Maddie, which we already knew. It was really obvious. The first date went really well. And then he makes the gesture of canceling, I think it was a work trip or just a trip to spend more time with her and get to know her better. Would you think of that as sweet or maybe a little too much?
A little of both. Like, I feel like he's sweet because he does like her, but then I sense that he's kind of being a little nosy and trying to be a little too in her life, especially since he popped up at her house. Like, what are you trying to see? Like,
I
why are you over
agree.
here?
Like, yeah, to me, like, I agree. It is cute, but at the same time, like, we just met. I've only maybe hung out with you twice. Go on your work
Exactly.
trip, do what you have to do. We'll see each other when the time is right. Like, we don't
Mhm.
need to make everything happen right now. So he's already throwing me off a little. I'm like, no, okay, you're doing too much right now.
Like, you're doing the most. Have a seat, sweetheart, because doing too much.
But she's about it.
It is. I think she likes him though.
Do you think this will make Ben step up to the plate and kind of be that good boyfriend he was being to Maddie? Or is this it for Maddie and Ben?
Ooh, that's a good one. I kind of think it's it for them because once Maddie found out that he did let the guy die, I think that was her last straw for him, honestly. So she's just like, they're probably better off being friends, and then that's it. I don't think she wants anything to do with him unless it's involving Ren, and that's it. And I
I
think
agree.
Ben is going to try and date Ren because he's like obsessed.
Yeah,
Simply
I think that
obsessed.
whole threesome relationship I think it's done. I think it'll mainly be Rin and Ben now. I really, really
Mhm,
hope that Maddie starts putting herself first. I feel like she totally deserves that. I feel like Ben kind of stopped being a good boyfriend a while ago, but
mhm.
she's only realizing it now. But you never know where these things go. I never thought there was gonna be a threesome situation going, but it
I
happened,
didn't
so you never
either
know.
because that was a lot. I was like, oh, that's what they're gonna do. Like, why?
Did you
They
notice
were
that
so
his
excited about it.
mom brought it up, like, oh, Harvard and Maddie, like, how's that? I know situations can be like complicated. I thought it was so awkward. Imagine like talking to your mom about like your two girlfriends.
Like, mom, let's not talk about that. We don't need
Super
to
awkward.
mention it. That is awkward.
Any last things you want to mention? Or we got it all?
I think we got it all. We actually covered all the episodes
Yes, it was a lot.
in
Do you
depth
want to
too.
jump into our special segment?
Yes, we can. So today, you guys, I have Mermaid Wonders again. And on today's
Yes.
list in Mermaid Wonders, we have the Pearl Weepers. And they are a popular myth of mermaids who can weep tears that instantly transform into the most beautiful pearls. Some believe that they are made when mermaids walk on her newly formed legs on the shore, which each new step being more painful than the last. So, with that being said, I'm guessing like as she's walking and taking her steps, she's like crying because it hurts because she went
Ooh,
from fin to feet. Oh, that kind of rhymes a little bit, but yeah.
that's crazy. That's so
But
crazy.
that would be interesting because pearls, that's like my birthstone. So
Oh, it is?
imagine, yes, I'm a
Well,
Jew.
see, I feel like this is so bittersweet because it's like I love pearls, but I hate that they have to go through pain to like cry and
Yeah,
get them. So now I feel bad for liking
imagine.
pearls.
It's okay. They're like a beautiful thing. Tears of
Yeah, so
happiness. Let's think of
cute.
it like that.
Well, they're expensive. So at least,
They are.
they're not they're yeah. Well, I have some news for all of you as well. So I feel like we finally saw the baby. So it's the perfect article for this. I found it on tvline.com. So Aline Powell, which is Rin's real name, she did an interview where she said that she welled up and got emotional the first time she saw the real baby mermaid because when they were actually filming it, she's just looking at a green screen, and she's like, as you can tell, like clearly, I looked like I was a new mom looking at my baby for the first time. So she's like, I had to really,
Oh,
channel that and get into character. She's like, but when I saw it on screen for the first time ever, I got super emotional because I, imagined it a certain way and it exceeded her expectations. Um, And she says that to her is like a highlight of the show, being able to see a mini Rin swimming around. So she basically saw it at the same time we saw it, which I think is
Oh my
so
goodness.
crazy. Because
That
obviously we know a lot of
is.
this is CGI, but
Mhm.
to know that she never got like to see it beforehand and she kind of just like saw it with us and got the same emotions we all got. That's so
Maybe
awesome.
they wanted to surprise her. Like they already knew her expectations and then they exceeded them. So they're like, here you go. A nice big surprise. Like, you know, you have your little baby on the show. There's something new for you to see.
Not even
Oh,
that, but
that's cute.
shout out to her for being a great actress. Like she looks like a mother in love. You know,
She did.
all of that. Like I thought maybe she'd be staring at like something really cute to inspire her, but to know that it's just a green screen, like that's so crazy.
That is. She is a really good actor.
And then
It's amazing.
I've never seen pictures of her like off, being her character. But she's gorgeous. Side note.
She is. I've seen her Instagram and I was like searching on stuff and I was like, oh, she's pretty.
Yeah,
I
you
like
check
her
her out.
outfits too.
Go follow her on Instagram then. What do you think is gonna happen next episode? What are some of your predictions?
Okay. So since they're in the water, I feel like she's going to go meet up with her tribe and introduce the baby as an exciting moment. And to top it off, I think she's also going to find out about Tia and what she's been doing in the water. And then try and have to figure out how to do that now since she has to watch over a baby.
That's a good one. I never really thought about that. I do feel like there's gonna be some trouble in the water with Tia. I don't know how she can like manage to like control the situation with the baby around. Like I don't know how much that's gonna like hinder the situation, but I can't imagine it being easy. I think the whole secret society that's gonna like I think the baby's gonna stir trouble up there as well because this was all done
Ooh,
behind closed doors.
it was. Oh my goodness, they might try and get the lady if that does happen.
Yeah, I feel like
That's
there might be, like, a custody battle over this baby. Who's keeping the baby? Because I feel the people who did it behind closed doors in order to make this happen, they're gonna want the baby for themselves, and then Rin has it, so we're gonna have to see how that plays out. And of course, we're gonna see more of Rob. I wanna see more of his true colors. Let me know if I like you or not. Give me some
me
more to
too.
work with.
I'm sorry, I'm leaning towards more of the not liking him side. I
Yeah, I mean,
think he's a little too nosy.
no to Ben and no to Rob. Maddie just needs to keep it moving. And
Yes.
Well, next time, where can everyone find you, Nija?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter. So my Instagram is NADJ, 4 E's with the underscore. And my Twitter is at someone say Nigel.